Hey guys, it's Sim Allie and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is a creative sim of Lily, Ryle, Atlas, and Emmy from It Ends With Us, a novel by Colleen Hoover, who I absolutely adore. So the main character here is Lily Bloom, and after graduating from college in a small town in Maine, she moves to Boston and ends up starting her own business, which ends up being a flower shop. How coincidental is that? She ends up meeting Ryle Kincaid, a neurosurgeon, one night and can't seem to stop thinking about him. Eventually, they end up in a relationship, and it seems almost too good to be true. There's also another guy on her mind. His name is Atlas Kerrigan, and they have history. He was her first love, and his reappearance in her life calls into question what is true love and what does that look like? So this whole scenario honestly reminds me of like a Twilight situation where Lily is Bella and she has to choose between Edward and Jacob. So as you can see, I'm creating Lily here, and in the book she's described as bold and brave by her mother. She speaks her mind but is also very, very compassionate, which is kind of a weakness in my opinion when it comes to her relationship with Ryle. I gave Lily two different outfits. One is more refined and sophisticated. I feel like this is something that she would wear to work or something, and then the other outfit is more youthful and fun. So I feel like she has those two sides to her. The book also stated that she has red hair and blue eyes, and that's pretty much it. I didn't really get much else for a description for her, so that's kind of what I had to do and just run with it. So we stuck with those features, and I pretty much had just like this idea of how Lily looks in my own brain when I was reading, and so I just emulated that, and I think she turned out really, really well. I really love this sweater over the shoulders moment. It's giving Pinterest vibes. Honestly, if you look up Lily Bloom on Pinterest, it gives you pretty much this outfit that I'm creating here. So I'm pretty proud of how I created Lily. Up next, Ryle Kincaid. He's arrogant yet oddly sensitive. He's a neurosurgeon who happens to hate relationships but quickly takes a liking to Lily when he first meets her. He comes from money, so I dressed him in a way that kind of emulates that. I ended up giving him a turtleneck, which looks really sleek. I kept him in blacks and neutrals, and he's the type of guy who doesn't really have to try to look good, you know? I feel like he wakes up looking like a Calvin Klein model. So, I mean, basically just creating a super handsome guy in The Sims. It really isn't that hard, but I did have some help. I drew my inspiration from Justin Baldoni, which is the actor who is playing Ryle in the film adaptation of It Ends With Us. So I'm really excited about that, actually. Blake Lively is going to be playing Lily, and Justin Baldoni is going to be playing Ryle, which I feel like are remarkable choices. I already had a vision for how I thought Lily would look, so I took inspo from Justin Baldoni, his dark features, his hair, and also, wasn't he amazing in Jane the Virgin? That was like my first introduction to him as an actor. He's a really good choice for Ryle. What do you guys think? But back to the book. I ended up giving Sim Ryle the genius trait because he's a neurosurgeon. Obviously, he has to be super duper smart. Hot-headed, which if you read the book you will see why, and perfectionist, because I feel like if things aren't going according to how Ryle would expect them to in a perfect world, that is when the anger issues come out, and that is when the hot-headedness comes out, and then there's problems. Next, we have Atlas, who is extremely kind and loyal and also very protective of Lily, which is why I gave him the loyal trait, the good trait, and the foodie traits. Atlas to me gives very much so boy next door vibes. So I felt that the sim version of him would just be really friendly looking, kind eyes, very nice. The book said that he had blue eyes and brown hair. So, you know, that's all I had to really work with. And from there, I kind of just let my creative vision blossom. I kind of thought that Atlas had, you know, the boy next door vibe, but also as he grew up, he had a little bit more of an edge to him. So I really didn't have a whole lot to work with because the descriptions of these characters in the book weren't very detailed, like literally just eye color and hair color, which I mean at the end of the day really helped me kind of get my creative juices flowing and gave me the creative freedom to just run wild. But it's just interesting when you think about it that when we read these books, we really have no idea what these characters look like necessarily. Like we can get like a general picture, you know, hair color, eye color, it may be like a race, but there's like so many like gaps to fill in. You know what I'm saying? Like what is their head shape like? What does their nose look like? What's the tone of their voice? You know, all of those little nuances. So I just think it's interesting that we fall in love with these characters and we really have no idea what they look like. We just paint a picture of what we think they look like in our heads. Next, we have Emmy, and she's so cute. The book actually said that she had her mom's hair color and her eye color, and that's about it. She was around 1 during the book, so we weren't really able to get much of a personality out of her, but here's Emmy. I would personally rate this book 5 stars out of 5 stars. It's so good, but I also have to give a trigger warning. This book discusses heavy topics like DV and physical abuse, so if you're not in the headspace to read about that and those sensitive topics, I suggest passing on this novel. But with all things considered, I really do feel like Colleen Hoover is like a champ at discussing these types of topics with such delicacy and grace. And I love how she does it. She gives you a peek into Lily's mind and what she's thinking in her past and why she makes the decisions that she makes. And I just feel like if you're up for it, I definitely recommend reading it, but obviously do not compromise your mental health to read this book. That's all for me today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys watching this video. Thank you for vibing with me, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.